Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the transits of two really important planets that, as astrologers, we're always focused in on. And what is that? Jupiter and Saturn. And their relationship to each other. As a matter of fact, in around 2008, I believe, well, actually, I started writing this book in 2008, but it was actually published in 2010. This is my book, How to Make Money Using Astrology. And in this book, I talk extensively about, well, a lot of things, but the cycle of Jupiter and Saturn and how they relate to one another and their aspects between. And I went back historically for many years and watched these cycles and these patterns, because if you know these cycles before what they produced, then you can make educated prediction on what they'll produce again. So these two planets are coming around into some very interesting aspects and signs. Here's another thing. Know that Saturn and Jupiter, the only time that they come back to their starting positions, well, Jupiter does about every 12 years. Saturn does about every 28 to 30 years. That means they go through all 12 signs of the zodiac and return to the same position. So Jupiter's about 12, Saturn's about 28 and 30. But did you know that the only time that you in your chart will get a return of both Jupiter and Saturn will be around the age of 58 and 60. So I know Jupiter does this, conjunction every 12 years, but I'm talking about when they both will align, Jupiter being on Jupiter and Saturn being on Saturn. So my whole point with this is the very last time that Jupiter and Saturn were where they're going to be for the end of this year, between now and the end of the year, was in 1963. So what is that? That's about what? Around 60 years. So, because it's 2002. So as I said, it's always around 58 to 60 years. Okay. Wait a minute, before I continue on, I have got to remind everybody to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org and you will get all of my predictions delivered to your email address every week. And don't forget, I'm starting a new University of Vedic Astrology Semester 1 live webinars. Join me, get to hear me talk every single week to you personally. Go to my university website. The beginning start date is July 6th. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. All right. So as I was saying, the last time that Jupiter was in Pisces and Saturn was in Capricorn was in 1963. And you see, Saturn just went into Aquarius, but it's going to back up and it's going to be in Capricorn for the last and final time for another 30 years. And it's going to be in Capricorn from July 12th to January 17th, while Jupiter is in Pisces. Let me remind everyone, it was 1963 the last time that they were in these signs. 1963 was horrendous. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the same exact scenario, but it could be. We've got to really take caution and be aware. What happened in 1963? November 22nd, 1963, President Kennedy was assassinated. So this could mean that there could be an assassination somewhere in the world. Okay? It's a big deal. Furthermore, During that time, you know, when I look at these planets, Jupiter in Pisces and Saturn being in Capricorn, they're actually in what we call a sextile. Saturn will be aspecting Jupiter by its third aspect. That's intense, okay? Really intense too. So Saturn's aspecting Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Pisces, and Saturn is in Capricorn. These two signs, these planets rule. Saturn rules Capricorn, Jupiter rules Pisces. This is intense, and Saturn's aspecting Jupiter. And I feel like, you know, everyone's talking about the stock market, and, you know, and the reason why I like to talk about the stock market, I know a lot of you say, I don't care about the stock market. Well, the stock market is very much determinant on the social, emotional value of the public. So when something goes wrong, such as COVID or shutdowns, guess what? The stock market goes down. When there's some good news, the stock market goes up. So it is a big determinant of the social climate going on in the world. And a lot of people, you know, the stock market is business, it's investment, it's corporations. How is the economy doing? It should be somewhat reflective, but you know what I think? I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I think it's totally manipulated. I mean, when we looked at GameStop, they totally showed us how the markets are manipulated. And here's the deal. You watch any of the financial channels on television or on the internet, all they talk about is that there's a depression coming or a recession. You know what I think? There are so many people manipulating the stock market, they are getting so wealthy. Why? They know if they pull their money out, it's going to drop, and then they buy it up again, and they make more money as it goes up, and then they sell. So they buy, sell, buy, sell. We're talking all the billionaires and multi-millionaires in the world. You know, they know if they take a huge amount of stock out, it's going to drop. They're in control. We are not going to have a recession with this kind of gains going on in the world. Do you think it's going to keep? That's why it's been so volatile, and it keeps going up and down and up and down. The rich are getting richer by all of this. So my point is, with the Jupiter Saturn, possibly some of these truths could come to the forefront, but I don't know why nobody else is talking about this. And here's the thing, with the United States government just keeps printing money and nothing's backing it. There's so much money out there. There's so many billionaires. There'll be more. And they're getting richer. What's to come of that? Well, one thing, stock market, we're not going to go into a recession. And if it goes down, it's going to go back up. They're not going to miss out on their chance of making more money. So anyway, I could be wrong with this. This is an opinion, but astrologically, I've seen clues to the up and down. The markets are going to continue to go up and down. And yeah, they're going to go down, but they're going to come back up. And people, oh, I lost so much money in the stock market, and then they're basing it on one day. Well, a month later, you'll probably be in the plus. So it's just, you haven't lost any money in the stock market till you sell your stock. And it's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. Watch. That's been the pattern. And the Jupiter Saturn back in 1963, I want to say this. Yeah, it was a catastrophic event, but the economy was really strong back then. And I think the economy was really strong for the rich. And you could benefit by looking at where you want to invest your money. So I think there's going to be I think looking at the planets right now, after this retrograde of June, things are going to start going up. By the second week of July, things are going to go up more. And then when we come to the end of July, boom, it's going to go down. Why? Because the planetary aspects are horrendous, and something big will happen that will change the emotional climate of the world and therefore the stock market. Will it stay down? I think it's still going to go up and down, but I don't think it's going to rise till 2023. So I think we're looking at probably October, November, December as being kind of low, but still, it's not a recession. I don't think. Like I said, could be wrong, but I've been watching this for a long time, and this is the cycle, this is the pattern. And the Jupiter-Saturn are so pertinent to look at in terms of the cyclic process. And I find that Jupiter and Saturn in these signs do not produce a major recession. But there will be something based on this 60-year cycle that could change the world, just like it did in 1963. I'm thinking the time frame for this. Now remember, it's during the time that Saturn is in Capricorn, between July 12th and January 17th. Yes, that's a wide window. But I think the square that's going to be happening between Saturn and Uranus is indicative of this major crisis, which happens in October, about the third week of October. Then, when Mars goes retrograde, October 30th, it's going to be in and out of Taurus. Basically, well, when it retrogrades back into Taurus, it will be there from October till about March. Retrograde Mars. And it doesn't look pretty for the world with retrograde Mars. Mars is violence and war and power, and that's what's going to be creating havoc in the world. Yeah, the stock market may not be doing so well, but that's not even the point. The most important thing to consider is our safety and well-being as humankind, because what needs to happen with all of this planetary energy is something needs to come to a crescendo, blow up and clear the air. And that's what I'm seeing the rest of this year. Between now and January will come about. But consider some of these cyclic processes I'm talking about and what they're here to bring about and what we're here to prepare for. This is important. We have to all prepare emotionally, physically, make yourself strong, and spiritually. More than anything, that is what we're all here for. So we've got to prepare ourselves on a spiritual level. May the highest thing, the highest good, happen for planet Earth that will heal it and heal all of us and bring us to a much, much better place. That is where we're headed. But we have to go through the fire to get there. And we have to look at everything as an opportunity for growth. And by doing so, the world is a much better place. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, you can go to my website, galacticcenter.org. And don't forget, my university, if you really want to learn these cycles and how to make money using astrology and protect yourself through astrology, look at the good times for things and to steer clear of the difficult times for things. This is the answer. Go to my university website, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.